Likutei Torah Club to learn a mimer, preparation for Shabbos, Chassidish Parsha. This week in the Parsha, we have this week in the Parsha, we're talking about the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, the double cave. What is the double cave? The double cave is the place in Hebron where our patriarchs and matriarchs are interred, and the idea that according to Chassidus, what does it mean? Ma'aras HaMachpelah, Sdei HaMachpelah. The pasuk calls it the double field. Field usually refers to the Malchus, and Sdei HaMachpelah hints to the idea of the Malchus, the idea of the letter of the Eibishter that is Machpelah, that is double. Which letter of the Eibishter is double? The letter of the Eibishter, the letter in the Eibishter's name that is double refers to the Hey. The Hey is called double for two reasons. First of all, there's two Heys in God's name, and also the way to write a Hey is with another Hey. How do you write Hey? How do you spell the name of the letter Hey? Hey, Hey. So this is by itself a very interesting concept. Kabbalah tells us that there's four ways of writing the letters of God's name. In other words, this is called Kabbalah a milui. What is the concept of milui? How would in your words, the concept of a milui?
Like how we calculate the number
How we
depending on your spell?
Oh, the calculation is already the next step.
How we
But the
spell
first step, how you spell the letters. So for example, the word Aleph, the letter Aleph is one letter, but how do you spell Aleph? Aleph, Lamed, Fe. Yeah, even in English we call it the alphabet. It's called the alphabet because alpha, it's most probably from Greek. Yeah, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Right, but even though that it's the Greek is definitely based on Hebrew, it's pretty obvious that the letters, it's in the same order also. Please till the middle, it's the letter, the order is literally the same. Yeah, so the word Aleph, you could look at it as one. But then, when you put the milui, when you spell it with the lamet pei, it becomes 111, which Kabbalistically refers to not to the letter itself, but rather the expression of the letter. So Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Eibishter's name Yud Kei Vav Kei, there's four ways of filling it. One comes out to be 72. That's when you fill it with Yuds. One comes out to be 52. That's when you fill it with how does it become 52? When the Yud is always going to be 20, yeah? Yud is 10, another Vav is 6, Dalet is 4, that's 20. We missed 32, so the double, when you make the double, Hey is 10. We have twice Hey, is 10, so we already have 40. And Vav is 12, so together it's 52. Then there's another holy name of God, which is 63. So it's 72, 63, Apsag Ma'uban. 72, 63, 52, and 45. 45 is when you fill it up with Alephs. 52 is when you make it double. How does it come to 63? Again, when you fill it with yuds, it's going to be 72. Oh, hi Oren. A lot of the things we already discussed this week, but okay, it's different. It's a special. My wife made special chocolate cake and peanut butter squares. This chocolate cake, guys.
Yeah.
This is
Rama.
Huh?
Rama.
Oh. Want to drink something, Oren? No? The air conditioner is working, so we should either close the doors. But make a bracha, Oren. What do you want to make a bracha on? So not, if you want, we have some hummus with Okay, so basically, without going into all of the calculations now, there's 72, 63, 52, and 45. It's different ways of how to express God. Yeah, how to get to 72? Like if the Yud is, with Yud is 20, Hey is 15. How would you spell Hey with a Yud? Hey Yud. So you have 15 and 15 is 30, 30 is 50. And then Vav Yud Vav is 72. Okay, so basically that's the idea of the milui of God's name refers to the expression of the letter, not only the letter for itself, but how the letter expresses itself. But now we're just going to discuss the poem, because we're talking about the double cave, the double field. We're going to discuss the poem of Darizal. Darizal wrote 3 poems for the meals of Shabbos, and in the poems, in the poem of Shabbos morning, there is one stanza that says the following: Yegalalom Tameh, may Hashem reveal to us the taste or the reason. Taste, the reason is the same word in Hebrew. The Bisrei Sar Nahame, that is in the 12 breads. The Inun Oz Bishmei, that is the secret of it, is a letter in God's name. The Inun, that they are Os, letter Bishmei in God's name. Which letter? Kfila, the double letter, or Klisha, and the weak letter. Says the Alter Rebbe. So basically, what does Arizal tell us? That the secret of the showbread, that is the secret of the secret of the showbread is connected to the double hay. So let's see. So we're going to go off over here on a topic of the whole idea of eating. Yeah? Eating is a major thing in our lives. And also, as we discussed in the morning, eating is not only referring to eating. Eating is a lot of things that is connected to, that is also called eating. Physical pleasures, physical ways of energy and things like that. And we're going to talk about our relationship to food. And basically, we're going to discuss, the Mimer is basically going to discuss 2 types, but even when, in order to understand the normal type, which is during the week, we're going to talk over here about the eating during the week and the eating on Shabbos. Sorry. But for us, in order to understand how to eat during the week, we'll also have to discuss a tiny bit the idea of non-good eating that is done for the wrong reasons. Let's read inside. The filling of the letter hey that is with another hey. Yeah, you have it. If you don't have it, there's a small crowd. You could always ask, feel comfortable. This is the reason why there's food over here. I'm going to have some l'chaim. Just something interesting. Last week, the Farbrengen was flagged as copyright.
Why?
Really? Why? Because we sung over here Chassid Shenigin, and the AI of Google, of YouTube, picked up that it's like that it's somewhere. We sung it so beautifully that it sounded like with music, and I had to fight it. So I submitted. Before submitting, it says, "Do you agree that if you're found wrong, we're going to close your whole channel?" So I didn't want to do it to the Mayinot channel. So I canceled. Who cares? Like, it's copyright, but I don't want to be. So I just did it on a different channel.
Uh-huh.
Like I uploaded it to a different to my personal one,
Uh-huh.
and but this is now live on the Mayanot one, and hopefully, so just interesting. Like, how do I explain to YouTube that this is an ancient Hasidic niggin and no one has rights to it? We just sung it. Just a cute story. Hine milui hey hi behei acheres. The filling of the hay is with another hay. Hi bechinas kfila, and that's the idea of the double. Kanoida, as it's known, minyan mar samach pela, as it's known from the concept of mar samach pela, the double cave. What does it mean? What does it refer to? That refers to hey achreinu the Shem Ban. That's the last hay of Shem Ban. Shem Ban is the letter of the name of God that comes out to be 52. What is 52? How do you get to 52? The Yud is 20. Hey is 10. So we have 40 and Vav. So when the letter is written in a double way, so that is the Shem Ban. Ban always refers to the Malchus, which is God's involvement in the world, our relationship to God throughout the world. In order to understand this, the concept will be understood. In order to through introducing to understand the concept of food. What is the concept of food? So the Alter Rebbe is going to say over here that the whole point of food is to give us energy. To give us energy, not only physical energy, but also give us spiritual energy. We see clearly that food, and this is like in the times of the Alter Rebbe, this was a wow. But nowadays we live in a generation where everybody knows like food has an effect. Not only on your body, also has on your emotions, and also has on your intellect. If you don't have B12, it's hard for you to think. If you're depressed, taking a certain pill will make you think differently. So that's the nowadays everybody understands the power of what the intake. If you eat certain foods, and it could cause depression. Yeah, have a lot of sugar, you go crazy, and then you wonder why you're angry. Why are you angry? Okay, but again, in times of the Alter Rebbe, it was Kabbalah that says that. So that's the first thing. The first thing is that what are we doing with food? We're taking in food, we're working it out, we're elevating it. We're going to discuss the idea of elevation a tiny bit more, but the general idea is to take the food and make us stronger. The food should serve the purpose of becoming stronger and more connected. Let's see inside. The main thing of eating from the food, everybody has it? We're over here. These are the footnotes. So we're starting over here. We're over here. You see? This paragraph. If you lose the place, you can always ask. The concept of eating, since from the food, it becomes fat and blood. And the blood is the soul. And the vitality of the person, that the liver receives hadam, the blood, mina ma'achal, from the food, v'sholeach lalev v'lamoyach, and it sends it to the heart, which refers to emotions, v'lamoyach, and to the brain. Detlas shalit nin ba'alma. The Sefer Yetzirah tells us that there's three controllers, three shalit. How do you say shalit in English?
Yeah, controller.
Controller, commander. Oh. Shalit is not a commander. Commander is a mefaked that gives you commands. Commander is someone that gives you commands. Shalit is someone that rules. Three rulers there in the world. Kavda is our liver. Liver always refers to the power of action. Veliba and the heart. Umoicha and the brain. Through eating and through the food, helping our liver, heart and brain, the food becomes elevated. From the food, it becomes the heart and the brain of the person. This is also something that we know nowadays from science, that the food by itself becomes cells afterwards and becomes the brain of the person. Yeah, that's why they say that eating fatty food is good for the brain, because the brain is made out of fats. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but they say that it's good for Alzheimer's or things like that to have fatty foods because the okay, but basically that's the words over here. The Alter Rebbe Nasem en alev moichodem. Through this mischazik libim moichovavitz Hashem. Through this, his heart and brain become stronger in Avitz Hashem. Shebeliboy in his heart. Slabas krishpesh nasem koich achila. That's the excitement, like tongues of fire, that happen because of with the power of that eat. Shebeloy achila, without the food, hayamit chalesh, he would become weaker. Also his brain becomes stronger to meditate in the greatness of God. And that's the concept of birur. Birur means sifting through elevation, but elevation over here, birur is more than the elevation. Elevation is the second step. Birur means when you take something and you have to sift it through, decide what part is good and what not part is good, what part is not good. We're going to see later why do we have to separate in the food. From the food becomes the man. So what does it mean? Birur. Birur means that you're using it in order to grow from it, in order to become better from it. Why do you have to separate between the good and the bad? We're going to see later. All of this will be all of this is during the weekdays. I will the Shabbos, but on Shabbos, Beirer Asur. There's a prohibition, you're not allowed to do Beirer. So the Alter Rebbe does a play on the words. What does it mean Beirer is Asur? On Shabbos, sifting is Asur. But what is it what is the spiritual meaning of it? And on Shabbos, we don't have to sift through. Shabbos, everything is holy. Shabbos, everything is... On Shabbos, everything is... everything is clear and elevated. Yeah, you could use everything is obvious and apparent, so you don't have to sift through to check who is the enemy and who is the friend, who's the enemy. Everything is friendly. So what do we do when we eat on Shabbos? The food on Shabbos is much higher. The food on Shabbos during the week, we have to elevate the food. On Shabbos, the food is higher than us, and we draw down from the food energy. And that is hinted in the verse, you shall call to the Shabbos pleasure. So what is the meaning calling? Calling means that you're bringing something closer to you. During the week, you can't say, I'm calling the energy. The opposite, I'm bending down and lifting up the energy. On Shabbos, I'm calling. And then ostis anag al havaya. Then you will have pleasure al havaya, above Shem Havaya. We're going to see later that Havaya refers to the world of Atzilos, and the energy that is found in the food comes from a level higher than the world of Atzilus, as we're going to see in a second. Kineksiv, the pasuk says. Those of you that are in the morning class we talk much more and we do less text. Thursday night, it's more the text, but it's good that because we spoke a lot. Every detail over here we discussed like almost a whole class. Kine ksiv. Again, if anyone has a question, ask. Kine ksiv. The pasuk says, "Ocher v'kedem tzartoni." Man, in Psalms and Tehillim, it says, man was created. Ocher. The pasuk says, the man says, "You created the tzartoni. You formed me." Achor, the last one, v'kedem, and the first one. So the Gemara says, what does it mean? Ocher v'kedem tzartoni. We're the first or the last. So the Gemara says, Ocher l'masa b'reishis. We're created the last in the actions of creation. Which day were we created? On the sixth day, on Friday. But we are Ocher l'masa b'reishis. And what is kedem? Kedem is that we're the highest creature in the world. Yeah, I think that's what the Gemara says over there, right? Let's look it up a second. Brachas daf samach aleph. Ocher l'masa b'reishis. We were created the last. And what is the lashon of the Gemara? What is the lashon of the Gemara for the first? Don't remember the continuation of this Maimer Chazal. Uh, the Gemara says over here a bit different. The Gemara over here says, Ocher l'masa bereishis v'kodam lepur onos. And the first one to get into trouble. Yeah? Adam is the first one that got into trouble. But the Chassidus over here doesn't say the end of a kodam. Because Chassidus is trying to say a different point. That we're created the last, but we're the most powerful. There's the lowest is inanimate, afterwards comes vegetation. After vegetation comes... Yeah, you want some tuna? No food? You're fasting tuna?
It's not Shabbos.
Oh, right. How you learned this, my Shmuel?
I had.
Ocher l'maisa bereishis. Oh, so the man is the last and the first. The last, Ocher l'maisa bereishis. The kedem is because man goes inanimate, vegetation, animals, and man. So we are the highest. We're the highest of creation. Sha'amaychel k'moshu l'mata b'yiridosoi. B'shviras ha'kelim hinei odom k'nes kedem sha'amaychel mizbar al dei odom. Let's explain this very, very simply, or maybe if you feel comfortable explaining the idea of the energy falling, what we discussed. No, what? No, whatever. So like this. The way it works, Chassidus is very short. In Parshas Vayishlach, it talks about the ministers, not the ministers, the alufim. Aluf is the chiefs of Esau. And the pasuk says over there, "Ve'elam lachim asher mochu lifnei melech bnei Yisrael." These are the kings that reigned before there was a king to the Jewish people. So Chassidus tells us, based on Kabbalah, before there was a king for the Jewish people, and they reigned and they died. They reigned and they died. So basically, Kabbalah tells us that there's a level higher, so to say, than the Jewish people, which is in the world of which is called the world of Tohu. The joke that I always say, in order to remember Tohu, just think Tohu with the H. That's it. You'll remember it forever.
Hashem.
What? Over there, that world was a world, what?
Hashem.
With Hashem, hey. So in that world, there was a lot of energy. The energy over there exploded, imploded. We'll have a special class in 2-3 weeks where we're going to discuss the whole idea of the breaking of the vessels. But basically what happened was like this. So there's a level above man. Man comes from the world of Atzilus, the world of Tikkun, the world of rectification. Then that energy is so powerful that it fell into the world, into the physicality of the world. That's the reason why sin and physicality has so much energy. Why does it have so much energy? Because we are because of that energy, it fell down over here into the world. But the problem is it fell. What is the meaning that it falls? Falls means that it's not only deteriorated, it fell into a different place. You look at the energy of this world, and it doesn't show you on its connection. It's sometimes called sparks. Why is it called a spark? A spark is a part of a big light. What is the big light? The big light is revelation of God, God's intention in the world. What does it mean that this table has a spark? It has this table has vitality from God in this table, and this table has a godly intent of what this table could do in order to reveal godliness in the world. But those sparks fell. You look at the table, you look at energy, you look at food, you look at anything else, and you don't see their connection to God. When we are eating, and if we eat mindfully, and especially if we make a bracha, we actually bring to the forefront the spark, and then we have the ability to elevate it, to bring it back to its source. So there's basically two trajectories simultaneously in this world. One trajectory in this world is what it has more energy, and the other trajectory is what has more clarity. So in terms of energy, the lower you are, inanimate has the most energy. Right? You say atom bomb is made out of inanimate. Then there's Vegetation. Vegetation has also has a lot of energy. Animals are stronger than people. If you want to go to Tel Aviv, what do you need to do? You have to go out and get onto a donkey or a horse. No, what do you do? Or a Tesla. Well, it doesn't matter, but a Tesla is inanimate.
It's even lower.
It's even lower. It's inanimate.
It's even more energy. That's why you can get faster than a donkey.
Right?
Mhm.
That's why you could go even faster than a donkey, or you take a helicopter or a plane. But what is the idea? The idea is that Chassidus is very bothered by this concept, and it comes up in Likutei Torah so many times. If we are greater than the animals and the inanimate, why do we need to get to them in order to have, in order to what? In order to sustain ourselves, we need to get to a lower level. And the answer is that there's two trajectories. The energy in the lower levels is more because it comes from a higher source. It just got misconstrued and abused, and our task is to use that energy and bring it back to the world of Tikkun. It's our job to sift through that energy. On one hand, that has more energy, so we could use that energy. But when you sift through those things, you're also in a major danger. Why? Because it has so much energy that it could suck you in. So you get onto a wild horse, it's either one of the two. Either you ride the horse or the horse rides you. I'm sure you know how it looks when you don't control the horse and the horse controls you. You go flying. Right? That's, yeah. Thank you.
It says the Indian of beer is davka through because of Avodah Hashem.
Exactly. What is the Indian of Birur? The Indian of Birur is that you go to the spark and you remind the spark where you're coming from. Imagine the CIA invests hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to get a spy into Iran, and that guy loses touch with headquarters. So that guy is still a part of the national security Pentagon, but he lost touch. He lost touch with his source. Reconnecting the agent with the CIA, that's called elevating the spark, bringing the spark back to the big light. The Pentagon is the big light. But the problem is that the reason why this guy lost touch is because he got sucked into the culture in Iran. He loves it over there so much that he forgot why he's there. He lost touch. We have to remind him. That's also David Sabirurim. You look at this Dorito. This Dorito, obviously, the Dorito is the euphemism. The Dorito has energy that could give you strength to make you stronger and make you give you energy. On the other hand, the Dorito also does like this. Come here. Let me suck you in. That's lustfulness and desires. Let's see inside. So man, after the breaking of the vessels, man is higher. Avol b'shar shelamayla. We're over here on this page, this paragraph. Avol b'shar shelamayla. But in the source above, he comes from the world of chaos. Lifnei malach melech v'nei Yisrael. Before, what does before mean according to Kabbalah? On a higher level of the kings. Lifnei malach melech v'nei Yisrael. Before a king reigned over the Jewish people. Only afterwards, vayimloch, he reigned and he died, But still, his root is higher than the person. He comes from a place higher than the person. As we see that the food gives energy to the person. And man receives chayes from food. Why does man receive energy from food? How does man that is a higher level than food receive energy from food? Because from the other perspective, man is the lowest. Why is he the lowest? Because in terms of energy, he doesn't have that much energy. He's considered to be like the more brainy. He has the ability to sift through, to make sense of things. Shabbos, but on Shabbos, Shuzman Aliyah Soilim is Shabbos, the world's elevate. What does it mean, the world's elevate? We always have to learn how to take words of Chassidus and make them, translate them. What does it mean, the world's elevate? On Shabbos, it's more obvious and apparent that there's nothing but the Eibishter. The food goes higher the way it is in its source. And it's drawn to him chayus, energy, la nefesh, to the soul, milamayla lamata, from above to below. Through the 12 breads, the lechem aponim, the showbread in the temple. In other words, the showbread in the temple is the root and the source of the idea of the elevation that even food is higher on Shabbos. And that's why Shabbos, it's a mitzvah to enjoy the food. The Pasuk says the following. Let me just bring another seltzer.
Is the B12 is said earlier?
Well, the pasuk says.
What?
Is the vitamin B12 is said earlier?
In the
You were talking before about B12.
B12, right?
It's the 12 breads, B12.
What?
Oh.
I left one of my AirPods in the cemetery. No. Maybe where it is.
But it's saying that usually it's lamat lamala, the energy coming from the
Food.
so even though the shores is much higher, it's still lamat lamala during the week.
Hope you find it.
Right, because during the week we experience it as it fell in the Shir Sakelim. That's why it's Mata Lamailo. So we looked up this pasuk. What does the pasuk say? It's a pasuk in Mishlei, Luke 19, Mishlei 13:25. What does the pasuk say? Tzadik oichel l'soiva nafsho yibeten rishoyim techsa. What is the simple meaning of this? The tzaddik eats and gets satiated, but a rasha always needs more. That's nature. Nature has it when you have lust, when you're lustful and have desires. It's never enough. That's why people that are addicted, right? They always become worse and worse. You start with one drug and goes, why? Because they always try to fill a gap, and therefore whatever I have now, it's not enough. Always have to. That's the simple meaning. The tzaddik becomes satiated. The rasha always lacks. He always needs more. I once heard a deeper explanation that the tzaddik eats for satiation, but the rasha, the person that is disconnected, eats in order to fill a certain lack. Bet and rishoyim techsar. The stomach of a rasha is lacking, and that's why he's constantly trying to fill a void, the emotional void. That's the idea of emotional eating. He's trying to fill a void. But the mimer over here is trying to say something else. It's trying to say that there's two types of eating. There's a eating where the tzaddik gets satiated from the food. How can you get satiated from the food when it's obvious and apparent to you that the food is so much higher than the man? So eating that food satiates you also spiritually. We quoted in the morning class, we spoke about it in class, that the result says that a person could even get to very high levels in spirituality through making brachas on food. How is that possible? Eating, just making a bracha, but food is energy. Why don't we think that food could be spiritual? It's like we look at food, we look externally, but food has in it nutrition, it has energy. But usually when we look at the food, we look at the energy as disconnected from God. But if you make a bracha and you eat mindfully, so this is godly energy that's found in the food. That's so to say the way of getting energy. That's in general a very Jewish perspective. That okay, maybe we should Farbrengen about it later. Like in the Goyish world, it's like being poor. Like it's hard to being poor is good. Like it's sometimes in our subconscious, like food, money, all these things seemingly are like a contradiction to God. But if it's only a contradiction in our brain, in essence, it's energy. So when there's a revelation of God, you're healthy. When there's a revelation of God, you're wealthy. To be strong. The Kohen Gadol had to be wealthy and strong and handsome. They say that the tzaddikim, the rebbeim, were very strong. That's what I heard once. They were strong. Let's see inside. There's two types of eating. Oh, welcome.
Hey.
Oh, hi, Tomer. Come.
How's everybody doing? How are you?
Gewaldig.
Much better now. Yeah.
Tell me, the post-high school left already on their Shabbaton or not? Or they're leaving tomorrow?
I'm not sure because a few guys are still around, so I'm not sure what the plan is.
Maybe you want to post in their group if anyone is hungry. It's a lot of food. It's a lot of food today. My wife prepared a lot of food today. And the truth is, yeah, you can post in a group. Anyone wants to come eat, even if they don't want to learn.
Anybody in the post-sec group chat?
You sleep in that dorm, no?
Yes, but I'm not in the group chat.
But so ask your roommates.
How is the living
My roommate's
there?
not around. He left, but
How is the living?
it's nice. They're very nice to me.
I was told to keep this behind the camera.
Okay. It doesn't look good for yeshiva. I don't
Oh,
understand.
no.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the marketing. That's where the marketer, cheaper marketing
Yesterday
told
Johnny
me.
came as well.
Who?
Yesterday Johnny came as well.
Yeah.
People asked who came.
Very good. So there's two types of eating. So the Alter Rebbe takes it over here to even a deeper level. One level is to satiate your soul. The other level is to take out the energy from the klipa. That's during the week. During the week, what is during the week? During the week, we're stealing from the klipa. We're stealing energy from the klipa. Why? Because the klipa has all this energy. It's like the Iranians were successful in getting the CIA agent to become one of theirs, and we're convincing him. We're taking him out. So take the whole thing.
Yeah.
We have enough. We have a whole another one. If you want some chicken wings, we could also warm that up.
Do we have like a nice medium rare steak? And
Oh,
some
medium
red
rare
wine?
steak. Soon we'll get it. we should do one. What? But no. That's Yaakov. Could you close?
Is it easier or harder to beer on a medium rare steak? Compared
so it's
to
very good that you're bringing
chips.
up medium rare steak. It's so delicious. This is actually what we're talking about over here. So let's see. L'soiva nafshoi. We're on a pretty good pace over here. What does it mean l'soiva nafshoi? The tzaddik eats for the satiation of his soul. Hu chayus hanefesh haba milamayla. That's the chayus of the nefesh when it comes from above. What comes from above? The chayus comes from above because the food is above the person. That's when it's obvious and apparent that the food is beyond the person. Ubet neshoyim techsar. What does it mean? Hainu kedishoyim. What does it mean in Russia? What are the rishoyim? Rishoyim refers to whom? To the chitzonim, to the klipas. Halidei achilan, through eating with intention. Mevaredim mehem. we sift out from them. Chayil bola vayikienu. It says about the klipa that the klipa swallows in energy and it has to puke it. Yeah, vayikienu, vomit it. Kivachol machol. So where do we see that the food is in captivity by the klipa? Kivachol machol yesh taiva. Because in every food there is, we have so much. Kivachol machol yesh taiva. In every food there's also the concept of a taiva. So again, this should be for the Farbrengen after. Maybe we should make a list of all the things that we say that we have to Farbrengen about it after. Mm-hmm. But yeah, maybe write down over there the idea of taiva. What is the meaning of taiva in simple words? Disconnection. Being mevarer the food, elevating the food means that you take the energy, you connect it back to its original source. What does it mean when something is lostful? That's a taiva. We spoke about it this morning that in Tanya chapter 26, let's see who remembers. What does the Alter Rebbe say in chapter 26 in Tanya? Those that weren't in the class in the morning. He said, Alter Rebbe says that the Yetzer Hara, even if you're in the middle of business and you start thinking about the fact that you're not really serving Hashem the way it's meant to be, you should know that it is the Yetzer Hara. Why? Because the Yetzer Hara is trying to get you depressed. Why? In order
to get you this.
Exactly. In order to get you to fall into taivas, in order to get you into lust. When do people fall into lust? When they're depressed, when they're sad. Why? Because sad is disconnect, and lust is a way to fill that dark hole.
Or the puke.
The puke is the opposite. The pasuk over here says chayil bola vayikienu. The klipa swallowed in energy, and by elevating sparks, we cause the klipa to have to puke it.
I thought it was going under the Rishaim part. Say Rishaim here,
right? No. Rishoim refers to the pasuk of Betin Rishoim Techzar. The stomach of the klipa will be lacking. How? How? By us causing them to puke it. You see the word Chayil Bol Ve'Yekienu. There's a big Kabbalistic secret over here. If you have a Sephardic Siddur, you'll see. If you have a Sephardic Siddur, you'll see that in the Bracha in Shemona Esrei that talks about bringing back our lost energy. It says over there, when it says God's name, it says over there to think Ched Bed Vav. Ched Bed Vav, you remember?
Yeah.
He davens on the Sephardic Siddur. What is Ched Bed Vav? Ched Bed Vav is God's name that has the energy from the Rosh Hashanah of Chayil Bol Ve'Yekienu. It's to take out from the klipa. It says also in the Sfarim, making a person a Baal Tshuva, or making a person, like taking a person that lost his connection to God. Yeah, either his fault or not his fault, or he grew up like that. That's like stealing energy, getting the klipa to puke its energy. Let's see inside. Ki b'chol machli yesh taiva, in every food there is lost. That's the source of the klipa. Again, why is the source of the klipa? Because the whole idea of the klipa is to disconnect you from your true essence. And through the fact that the food is included in the body of man, and it becomes blood, that is sent to the heart and brain. The food turns over, gets transformed to good, b'kedusha into kedusha, through strengthening the heart and the brain in service of Hashem. Through this, it takes out the energy from the other side, Zehu better Rishoyim Techsar, and this is the meaning of better Rishoyim Techsar. Nechsar Achayis Shabalu, that they lack the chayas that they swallowed in. Umibitno Yerishenu El, that is the kale. This is the end of the pasuk Chayil Balav Yekienu, and from his stomach, Hashem will make it your inheritance. Umibitnoi, from his stomach, from the klipa's stomach, Yerishenu kale, the Eibishter will make you be the inheritor of it. Everything is clear, everyone? Yeah? Crystal clear? Yeah.
Wait, so the klippas, when they fall down, when they're below, they have energy. When they're above, and then when they puke them, then they get elevated. So as they are lamala,
the food gets elevated. The klipa
Right.
gets the klipa stays without energy. You shot a klipa, you took away his energy. How did Rabbi Kaufman say today that the klipa works? It's like a parasite. Why does the klipa come to a person? Because he lives like a parasite. He lives off our energy. That's the reason why, after eating, we do mayim achronim. Why do we do mayim achronim? We want to give something for the klipa should go away. That's the reason why, by the Sephardic Jews, the custom is, before you make the mayim achronim, everybody announces, mayim achronim chova! What is the simple meaning of mayim achronim chova? That it's an obligation to do mayim achronim. What is the Kabbalistic meaning behind it? Chova is one of the names of the klipa. So they're calling the klipa to say, whoa, we have water for you. Leave us alone. You could also see sometimes people after eating, they become lustful or they could take it to wrong places. In Chabad, the custom is not to say Mayim Achronim Chava. There's another custom. Which pasuk do we say? Zeh chelek Adam Rasha Melihim. This is the portion of the evil man from God. V'nachlas imroi mekel. So what do we say? We announce to the klipa, come evil person, we have something for you. Leave us alone. Kabbalistically, there's other times too when there's something similar to Mayim Achronim. You know what?
The Rasha is the klippa.
Yeah, Adam Rasha. Over here we say the same thing. Better Rishayim.
Right. But that says Adam Rasha, no?
No, Adam Rasha. So who's the Adam Rasha? The Klipa.
Right.
Anyone ever heard a different explanation why we say it before Mayim Achronim, that puzzle?
Never heard any explanation.
But now it makes sense, yeah?
Right, it makes much more sense.
Great. That's why, that's why we learn. What?
The really connected to.
According to this Maimer, this makes sense. Right? What do we say? Lifnei Hashem. That Shabbos, once you take away the klipa, what happens? The food is ostis anag. The tainu comes alavaya. Zeh shulchan. This is the table. Asher lifnei Hashem, higher than Shem Mavaya. In other words, you connected it back to the source in the world of Toyu, where the energy was connected to its original source. But that I didn't see clearly. I just made it up now. Don't listen to it. Forget about it. Delete backspace.
But it makes so much
I
sense.
can never say, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But one of the things we have to make sure, if Chassidus doesn't say it, who are we to say it? But that's pretty clear. That the reason why we say Zechel Kodam Resh Melakim is for the same reason why the Sfardim say Mayim Achronim Chova. But they say it with like a whole unison. Ever see how they say it? Mayim Achronim Chova.
This is far tune.
Yeah.
Wait. Atik Benai. Hello Benai.
Atikra. Very good. Let's see inside. Ukemoshe Kosov Bazoyar, as the Zoyar says, Perish Shabbatchem Loikomer. No, who could make sense of this line? We just started the next column. The Zoyar says, Perish Shabbatchem Loika Omar. That's really what's so hard in Torah and Likutei Torah. It's not a hard sefer, but there's a lot of references to things. What does it mean? Peresh Shabbatchem Loika Omar. So let me share with you the background of what the Zohar says, what the pasuk says. There's a pasuk that says in Malachi. Let's look in the bottom. We have, thank God, we have this beautiful print of the Torah Ohr. What does it say? Footnote 24, Malachi 2:3. Imloy tishmu, if you won't listen, if you won't hearken, God says, Vizeresi peresh al penechem peresh chagechem. If you won't listen to me, I will smear, I will spread on you the defecation on your face. I will spread on your face defecation, the defecation of your holidays. Bad enough. What does Hashem say? It says you're sitting and eating all the steak and all the good food on your holidays. What is that? That's defecation. I'm going to spread it on your face. The Zohar says that that's the reason why on Yom Tov it's very, very important to have guests. Very, very important to have guests like this. When you have guests, you make the meal, it's like, it helps for the sifting between the good and the bad. But the Zohar says something more. It says the defecation of your holidays. It doesn't say the defecation of your Shabbos. So even though Shabbos, we also try to have guests at Shabbos meals. But still, it's not like holidays. Holidays, the Zohar says, a person that has a holiday meal without guest, oh, what the Zohar says. Terrible. But how come Shabbos, it doesn't say the defecation? Because what is basically defecation? What is defecation? Defecation is you eat food, the body takes out all the nutritions, and what stays? The bad part. Shabbos, we don't have to do bitter. That's the whole idea of what we're saying. Shabbos, there's an automatic separation and everything elevates. So let's see inside. The Zohar says, yeah, Shabbos, the whole thing becomes good. Peresh Shabbat Chaloika Omar, Shema Shenas Milamata, they bitter K'moi B'Moisachoil, Yesh B'I Peresh Upsoilis. During the week, when we eat from bottom up, it has defecation. Shamufchar Sholech Lalev V'Lamoyach, the good, the nutritions, the body sends to the heart and the brain, V'Apsoilis, and the garbage, Yodid Lamata B'Kravayim B'Bnei goes into the stomach and the intestines, and then it goes out as defecation. The Zewa Birur, and that's the sifting through. Avol b'Shabbos. I'm sorry. Yep.
That brings a big question. Why do we go to the bathroom on Shabbos?
It's from Erev Shabbat.
Who goes?
It's from the stuff from before.
Stuff from the week.
All right. So why do we go to the bathroom Motzei Shabbos?
We're talking about the spiritual bathroom. We don't have to go to the spiritual bathroom. Yeah. Avol b'Shabbos, but on Shabbos shu nas milamayla lamata, but on Shabbos that it's coming from above to below. Ein boi psoilus klal. There's no defecation. There's no psolet. How do you say psolet in English?
Waste.
Waste. Very good. Psolet is waste. That's the literal translation of psolet. Ki psolet hu mei tzadas tovera. Why is there waste? Because the world is mixed from the tree, the tree of knowledge that has good and bad. Ulamat, down here. What do you mean down here? After Shviras HaKelim, when they fall into the lower worlds, Nasa Toivara B'Kol Abchinois becomes a mixture. It's our whole world is like that, guys. Our whole world is filled with mixture of good and bad. That's really why you need das. That's okay. It's another conversation to discuss. People that don't have das. Im ein dat havdala minayin. That's what the Gemara says. That's why when do we talk about Havdalah? When do we mention Havdalah? In the fourth bracha, Choynan Adoas. Because people that don't have Da'at, they don't know how to separate things. It's there's no separation. Everything is good or everything is bad. We always have to know how to separate. I'm sorry, through the first man eating from the tree of knowledge that has good and bad. The same is also in every man. There is a mixture of good and bad. Not everyone is the same. There's some people that have more good and less bad, and some people have more bad and less good. But everyone is mixed.
He doesn't say bad. It's very chassidish.
Yeah, well, no, I don't understand the sentence. How did you understand the sentence, Shmuel?
There's people that have more good. There's people that they're good. It's like that.
Isn't
like
this
bechina.
okay? You want to say that it means zu that it's less? I'm not sure. Very good. Aval b'Shabbos, but in Shabbos, ostis aneg al Hashem. L'mayla mi eitadas, higher than the mixture. The eitadas is a mixture. V'lo yegurcha ra klal. V'lo yegurcha ra. What's the play on the words of it? What is it? Not the play on the words. What does it mean? Lo yegurcha ra? That evil doesn't live with you. So when there's godliness in an obvious and apparent way, the evil ceases to exist. Rak the Yom Tov ksiv perish chagechem. Yom Tov does say the defecation of your holidays. Yom Tov yesh b'ksas bir shehutra b'melechas echol nefesh kafi bishul. Yom Tov, you're allowed to do some work with the food. What does work with the food mean on a spiritual level? You still have to work with the food. You can't just take it face value. You have to work with it. The only thing that's prohibited is rak tzira, zriya, v'charisha, sowing, plowing, and harvesting. Because you're allowed to do certain works. So there's the concept of working through something. What is working through something? Working through something also in the English language, what does it mean? It means that you're sifting through. The Zohar says, what is the tikkun? How do you rectify the idea of not having the defecation? What is lamechdela miskenei? Making the poor happy, inviting them to your to your Yom Tov meal. Kisha simcha hilas hameach as hakol. Because it's a time of simcha, and you have to make everyone happy. As the pasuk says, you should be happy in your holidays. Ata, you, Dadat, Valevi, Vager, and the Levite, and the convert. Ger is not necessarily convert; it's the foreigner. Lefisha simcha hi b'chinas hamtokas adinim. What does happiness do? Happiness sweetens the next page. Happiness sweetens the severities. Let's see, how would you translate this concept? This is a Kabbalistic concept, but since we learn Chassidus, how would you translate this in Chassidus? It's a time of happiness, and you have to make everyone happy because happiness sweetens severities. Sweeten severities sounds very Kabbalistic. Translate in simple English. What is severity? Severities means disconnection. Happiness is the opposite of disconnection. Happiness elevates everyone connects everyone to their essential self. People that are happy are very giving people. You realize, like what an interesting thing. People are depressed. They don't want to hear from anyone. They don't want a connection to anyone. A person is dancing. What do we naturally do when we dance?
We connect.
We connect, and when we dance, but one of the interesting things is when we dance, we try to get other people into the dance.
Mm-hmm.
We're very giving. Even very frugal people, even very stingy, cheap people, when they make a wedding, they're happy, they want everyone to eat. They don't think, oh, it was like the guy's eating my food. Yeah, you want to give? Ukanoida, as it's, I'm sorry, if I want to make sure that there's no evil, that there's no disconnect, have to make sure that everybody is happy. Ukanoida, it's known that we just said, as it's known that that a person that is happy shows a person that is happy wants everyone to be happy. Through this din, the severity becomes sweet. Because he creates equality. Again, what is it? Why is there differences between people? That's because people are stuck in themselves. So there's a hierarchy, and you're higher than me, lower than me. But when there's happiness, when people are just connected to their true self, everyone is equal in their eyes. Says the Holy Zohar, but a person that doesn't feed the poor on Yom Tov, then the severity is not sweetened. What is left? Defecation. That's why, because through him not feeding the poor person, he created that there should be defecation. Therefore, the punishment is that God gives him the defecation. Kihu Godam, because he is the one that caused that there should be left the waste of the defecation, because he didn't sweeten the severity. This is on Yom Tov. Avol b'Shabbos, but on Shabbos, what does the Zohar say about Shabbos? Afal gav, even though the loy yoiv lemiskenei, the person did not give it to the poor person, ein oin shoyrav, his punishment is not great. Ki b'Shabbos ein perish klau. On Shabbos, you don't need, it's not necessary to make other people happy and make everyone equal, because on Shabbos there's no defecation. There's no evil at all on Shabbos. Says the Alter Rebbe, with this we're finishing the Maimer. This hamshacha, this drawing down, over here it comes a tiny bit complicated, but let's see if we can get through it. Let's see. This drawing down of energy into this world is done in two ways: kfila uklisha, double and weak. Pirush klisha. What is the meaning weak? Yamshachas yudin v'vavim shemiyud nasavav shayud asman nimshach v'nasavav ki lefisha yud b'chinas tzimtzum l'chen yochel lios mimena mshacha b'chinas vav min ayud avtzma. In order to understand klisha, he first explains what's the opposite of weak. What's the opposite of weak? Strong. What is strong? When the yud becomes a vav, the yud by itself becomes a vav. Aval ahei. In other words, you have the ability to express yourself. Aval ahei, but the hey, she's pashtas oirich v'roichav. That's when the concept becomes long and wide. We'll discuss this in a second. In Chassidus explains that every concept has depth, length, and width. We'll discuss it after we finish. The length and the width that is above cannot reveal himself down here the way it's above. In other words, the hey is a certain disconnect. The yud turns into a vav. The yud by itself, you could turn it into a vav. That's also the reason why a vav is a yud, just longer. But when it comes to oirich v'roichav, to length and width, that's something that we can't reveal downstairs. Not downstairs. Down here. The one hay doesn't come down to the next hay. It's a new hay. The hi b'chinas hamilui shel hay. And that's the reason why the hay is filled up with another hay. The hainu koyach hay shoyu behelam lamayla. The hay that was concealed above. Ki la'olam hamilu hu masha behelam. What is the milui? The milui is what was concealed above comes down in Revelation. Umasha behelam lamayla, what was concealed above, yotza behelam lagil lamata, came out of the concealment down here into Revelation. V'hainu bechinas kfila. This is the idea that the hay is double, hay. Shehi bechinas milui hahayin kan noida minyan machpela. That's the idea of filling up the hay with another hay, as it's known from the concept of double. Kol zeh hu shana mekabel mashpah, the yud beis l'cham bizman hazeh. All this is nowadays when we're receiving the ashpah from the 12 breads. Avala osid lavoi, but when Mashiach is going to come, yigalol time in the b'seis nahama, God will reveal to us the secret, the taste, the reason, the meaning of the 12 breads. Vazai lo yeh b'chinas kfila. Then it won't be double. Rakahei atzmo shelamaylo yeh lagilul lamata. The actual first hay is going to have a revelation down here. Gamkein al dei ki yigalol on time, because Hashem will reveal to us the secret. Kamashakosov b'yoymahu yeh. Yeah, what does it say? Nowadays is Yud K Vav K. When Mashiach is going to be Yud K Yud K. In other words, it's going to be the same, like above is going to be below. I wasn't so clear in the end. I have to remember that in the Maimer during the week we didn't get all the way to the end, so I didn't remember that I have to do this again, the end part. But basically, what it's telling us is like this. It's a pretty short, cute mimer, and basically the idea that it's saying is like this. We live in a world, and you could look at the world in two ways. You could look at the world. There are two ways. There's a world when you're fighting, you're in war. That's during the week. Then there is Shabbos, things are obvious and apparent, and then you could basically receive the energy from the world in an open, in a revealed way, in an obvious way. And how do we get that? Through Kfilo Klisha. Kfilo Klisha means we're drawing it down. How do we draw it down? Through the hay. The hay is the double letter, which double again, what is the idea of double? That it's not the yud turning into the vav. It's actually a new hay. It's revealing something that was concealed. It's a lower level.
But it's not tzimtzum and spashtus, because that's the yud and vav.
I think it's a tzimtzum and spashtus of a new level. That's the first hay is. No, tzimtzum, I mean, a hay is a spashtus, not tzimtzum and spashtus. The yud is the tzimtzum, the hay is the spashtus. And vav is amshacha, and hay. But then, the Alter Rebbe says, he got a long time in the B'sreis and Ahame. In other words, like this. Nowadays, even when it's Shabbos, so to say, we get more revelation. Mashiach is going to come, it's not going to be the revelation of, it's going to be the thing itself. So, what we ask for in the poem, in the Arizal's poem, it says, Yigal time, give us already, reveal to us the actual thing itself. So now, we receive revelation through the 12 showbread, which is our involvement. This is how it sounds when you live in Rechav Yafo. Thursday night, the whole night, groups of people. So people are happy.
I hear a cat meowing like on Yaffa, I think it's on Yaffa Street. It's just meowing at 2 a.m. It's so loud, you can hear it from the apartment. The most random thing.
But we're asking Hashem, in other words, according to the Alter Rebbe, the way the Arizal over here says, there is the 12 bread that we receive the energy through kfilo klisha, through the Slei Machpelah, which again, Slei Machpelah refers to the world, and the world, so to say, the Alter Rebbe calls it the double world. What does it mean, double world? It's a certain reflection. It's double. There's the actual thing, and then there's a reflection of the actual thing. And what we're asking for in the poem is, we don't want the reflection, we want the actual thing by itself. May it be speeded in our days with the coming of Mashiach. Let's what? Oh, let's say some l'chaim. We have a lot of things to discuss over here.
He brings us some point that it's asr to the beer and Shabbos.
Right.
But on Yom Tov is also asr to the beer, no?
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 From where? Yeah, right. Right.
Only cooking and...
Right. No, it's not only cooking. No, you could also
Carrying.
knead.
Ah, right.
It's from which, guys, from which, in the Lamates Malachas, in the 39, you want to give everyone some l'chaim? Thank you. I won't drink tonight.
Oh?
I'll say l'chaim on the seltzer. Thank you. What?
I'll have you.
L'chaim, a tiny
To
bit.
make up for it, you know, so your wife will expect something's up tomorrow morning when she sees the sun.
She doesn't have a problem. My wife comes from a Russian family. If you don't drink, something is weird. Say a tiny bit. I just don't want. I have like a personal reason. I don't want to like mess up. So the Alter Rebbe over here too. But first let's explain. Let's explain. In the 39 prohibitions on Shabbos, the way it works is, it's tiny bit. L'chaim, everyone, l'chaim. Let's wait for Shmuel to have some l'chaim. Oh, okay, of course.
He's doing the beer for me.
Yeah, but someone left the oven.
Left the oven on. That's my
But
goal.
beer is asr in Yom Tov as well, no? How can you bring that as a raya for...
She opens it up and stands on it in order to get to the top.
L'chaim.
Chayei. In the 39 malachas, it's a sequence. Right? It's a sequence. The first set is making bread. So the sequence starts with how do you call lush? No, charisha. It's zoreah v'chodesh, but really the Gemara over there asks why this comes before that. But it's a sequence. What is the first thing you do?
Everything.
It's not associated. It's a sequence. There's three sets of things. There is making bread, which starts from how do you call when you dig in you make the earth softer?
Oh, you till it.
Plowing.
Or
It starts from plowing, sowing.
is till also a word for this, or is till a word for something else?
The what?
To till the earth.
Till.
Oh.
I know the word plow.
Huh.
Then comes harvesting, winnowing, sifting, grinding, kneading, and cooking / baking. Then there is another series, which is writing, that starts from hunting, skinning, tanning. I'm not saying all of them, but then salting, and then this in order to make parchment, and then writing. Then the next series is how to make clothing, because all these things were done in the tabernacle, in the temple, right? The tabernacle. The next one is making clothes. That starts from shearing, spinning, which ends weaving, tearing. Yeah, tearing is a part of like, the process of making clothes. Yeah, what?
I
Till?
found another definition for till. It's like way down in the definitions, so it's kind of a rare use. But till, third person present, it's a verb that means to prepare and cultivate land for crops.
Maybe it's the same thing.
Very
as
good.
plow.
That's the word, same word like plow. Thank you.
Basically the same definition, yeah.
Hey, you taught us a new word. Very good. So, I think, if I'm not
Beer.
mistaken, the first thing that you're allowed to do for food on the Shabbos is from kneading. You could knead and beg. I'm sorry, Yom Tov. So the
Right.
Alter Rebbe over here actually shows. The Alter Rebbe over here says clearly. It doesn't say. It says there are some malachas that you're allowed. The only thing that is prohibited is tzira, zriya, and charisha. Yevacholu, right? It includes also birur. And it says lefili shehutru k'tzas malachas beichol nefesh yesh bo birur v'shayich psoilis. Because some malachas were permitted for beichol nefesh, there is in it a concept of birur, and it's shayich to have. You're right. It's not exact, but this is the general idea. No, guys,
Another-
it's not. I don't have to Farbrengen necessarily. You could share from your week. Yeah.
Right. I would think that the higher something is, the more energy it has. The lower something is, the less energy it has.
You would think that what?
The higher something is, the more energy it has. Whatever that means.
So that's a very interesting thing.
Like Moshe and the rock.
What? Like Moshe in the rock. That what?
That he hit the rock, which seems like something that's really small to us, but for someone that's so great, he should have known better. So someone that's so high up felt like in that he wasn't allowed in Israel because of the level that he was at.
Right. But I think if I understand clearly what Shmuel is asking, he's asking, in general, how do you measure things that are higher or lower? So he says, he thought, that the way to measure higher and lower when we're talking about spiritual things is things more energy or less energy.
Not necessarily to measure, but once you measure, I would think that.
Yeah,
that's
so
how
you're
it would
saying
be.
that should be the measurement.
No, that should be the measurement, but once you know what is higher, what is lower, you should expect.
Oh,
Right,
so
yeah.
so no. So that's the. So you're saying it. You're saying almost the same thing. Tell me if I understand it correctly. You say I would expect that something that's higher has more energy. So this leads us to a very interesting conversation. What defines spiritually what's higher and what's lower? Let me ask you, what's higher, intellect or emotions?
Intellect.
Intellect. What has more energy?
Emotions.
Emotions has much more energy.
It's
So what is the definition of higher and what's the definition of lower? So in Ayin Beis, there's like a whole mimer or more to trying to give the clear definition Kabbalistically, what makes something higher, what makes something lower. Again, because in physicality, the table is here, and on the table there's a plate. So the plate is higher. But when we talk in spirituality, higher and lower has to have a clear definition. And I want to share with you a small secret, my dear friends, that the definition of what makes something higher or lower differs in every school of thought. And the question what is higher and what is lower is usually connected to the very essence of that school of thought. In other words, for example, there's a school of thought within the world of Kabbalah called Ashlag. It's not so famous, but they became famous. The okay, it's not so nice to say.
I heard
Because there's
the Kabbalah centers is very famous.
oh, that's what I want to say. I just felt it's not because
I can say
Ashlag
Torah.
was a holy Jew and was like used. The whole idea of learning Kabbalah with no commitment to Torah mitzvahs, their commitment, but some to a certain extent. Rabbi Steinsaltz said once that the Kabbalah centers are like it's like pornography. It's deriving pleasure with no commitment. It's like, what's the difference when you do it in the right context or when it's in a not the right context? One is pleasure with commitment. One is pleasure without commitment. So he was very upset with the Kabbalah Center that there's no commitment to God, to halacha. It's like more knowing God's secrets, going beyond the. But that Rabbi Steinsaltz, he was very sharp. Anyone that knows that knew him or knows his sayings. Such a word needs a l'chaim. So thank you. Abyssal. Yeah. Otherwise it's just like making fun of other people. So it's like trying to get to a certain, trying to connect to a certain truth. L'chaim. This really needs a new bracha because I didn't think I wanted to drink tonight. Baruch Hashem.
Maybe. There's two definitions in the mimer and first mimer.
No, I just want to finish this idea, and then I don't want to cut you off, Chas Shalom. I just want to finish the idea that in every school of thought, what the point is, that will also define what's higher and lower. So, for example, in Ashlag, he believes that the main point is to be like God, to be a giver, and even when you need to receive in order to give. Yeah. Anyone ever got exposed to that school of thought in Kabbalah? So by him, what makes it higher, what makes it lower? The higher you are, the more a giver you are. The lower you are, the more a receiver you are. And all the levels in the middle is what is more dominant, your giving aspect or your receiving aspect. You go to different schools of thought. It's like we'll say, why is intellect higher than emotions? Because intellect is more
Sophisticated.
again, the question is what makes sophistication. It's like, so we'll say this one is I forgot how the regular Kabbalist in Chabad Chassidus, since the whole point of Chabad Chassidus is bittul, higher and lower the intellect's the reason why intellect is higher than emotions is because intellect is more bittul than emotions. Chochmah is more bittul than bina. Chesed is more bittul than gvura. Whatever that means, this needs a whole other class. Maybe after a while we'll decide if we should continue Likutei Torah or like we could maybe take every week a different concept of Chassidus to discuss. I don't know, but the general idea is that higher and lower is not measured by more energy, and in fact, that I hinted to it. I even said maybe these words that once you learn Chassidus, you understand the idea of Shuras HaKelim, you understand that there's two simultaneous trajectories, completely two trajectories. One trajectory discusses energy. One trajectory discusses bittul. higher, lower is bittul. Now you're going to ask me how, if so, is why toyu higher than tikon? Because the Rebbe writes in the Sichas that even toyu even had more bittul than tikon. The only problem is there was something missing over there, and that's why it imploded or exploded. Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you want to say?
As in Bas Lagani, there's two definitions. No?
Yeah, two definitions of higher and lower.
Higher, lower, yeah.
Which Basaligana are you talking about?
I don't remember which. there's so many. Maybe the original one from
The
Likutei
original
Torah?
one from the Shishi Rebbe discusses higher and lower.
No,
maybe?
probably not.
I don't
I'm not sure actually.
I
Well, some I recall Bas Lagani somewhere from one of the rabbis.
No, could be. It doesn't mean if I don't remember.
One is more revelation of Hashem, less revelation of Hashem.
Yeah.
And the other one was, or was it, or is that Tanya? No, I think it's Bas Lagani.
Okay. So higher is more revelation, and lower is less revelation. So it doesn't have to. So it has nothing to do with energy. That's a very good answer.
The other one I forgot, but Mr. Shem will remember soon. And I want to say the same thing in chemistry.
The what?
It works the same way in chemistry that the lower, like when you break it has more energy. Like to break a bond, you got to put energy into it, so that the things become separated and broken. But if you want to create a bond between two particles, you got to remove energy actually.
Wow.
Create the bond.
That's
Do you,
scientific.
do you have to remove the energy, or does the energy become removed after you? Like, you can't remove the energy. Once you create it, it'll just be released as heat.
Oren, you want
It's the same thing.
peanut butter
I
spread?
mean, yeah.
But if you want to look at the bond as a bond as negative energy, the bond are like negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're.
So we'll give you some Benadryl right
See there?
now.
Not Sidek, it's
Wait,
not.
one is the more
I mean, I eat
revelation.
this, but it's just not good.
What's the
Very
other one?
interesting.
More revelation.
Which niggin do you want, Oren?
Not sure.
Which niggin do you
Oh,
want?
how much they feel as a thing by themselves. How much they feel.
that's the opposite of
Right,
bittul.
the opposite of bittul, right. That's the other definition.
So that's Chabad.
For
Chabad
themselves.
Chabad is very into bittul, so Chabad is always going to try to explain why is intellect higher than emotions, because it has more bittul. Why is Chochmah higher than Binah? Because Chochmah has more bittul. Why is Chesed higher than Gevurah? It's actually fascinating to go through every sphere to really try to understand why is Chesed more bittul than Gevurah? Why is Gevurah more bittul than Teferes? It's like the understanding of it is. You're sitting in Rabbi Kaufman's classes. He's like mind blowing, huh? Every day. No, let's sing a good niggin. Who wants to choose a niggin?
I don't know that.
Okay. What is your favorite? Who knows what's the name of this niggin? Huh? This niggin is called Rosh Chodesh Kislev. And it's very appropriate that we sung it, because this Shabbos is going to Shabbos Bar from Kislev. And Rosh Chodesh Kislev in Tafshin Lamed Ches, 1977, the Rebbe came out for the first time after his heart attack. And that was the niggin that they composed or sung for Rosh Chodesh Kislev.
Oh wow. I had no idea. It just came to me.
So it's very time appropriate. But Farbrengens, we also try to sing like deep nigunim. You know, which deep nigun? The pilpul? You like the pilpul?
Yeah.
How does the pilpul start? Ya ya ma 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 ya ma 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 ha ma 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 ya 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 ma 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 ya That's a powerful niggun. So l'chaim, if we're already saying l'chaim, let's say l'chaim for all of our brothers that are fighting and all the captives that are waiting to come home. L'chaim. Pass it through here. Shouldn't, what? L'chaim to all our brothers that are fighting. They should give them a smashing success. They should all come home safe and sound and healthy and strong. Not one hair of them should be affected or hurt. The Eibusher should already have an itzachon. What happened to us in Simchas Torah, more than everything else, is the biggest embarrassment for God. His kids are still being slaughtered. And we're asking Hashem to take away that embarrassment. I don't want to talk about painful about painful things, but now we should have such a smashing success. We should have such miracles. The whole world should see. The whole world should see that Hashem is with us and Hashem is with His kids. And miraculously, we should wipe them out. Wipe them out. This is Amalek. This is like the. Thank God now the whole world we see the true face of the whole world. It's like you see anyone that still has a tiny bit normalcy understands our side, and those that don't have any decency, they just talk about liberal values the whole day. When it comes to Jewish blood, suddenly international law. It's like they don't even condemn. Like, how could you demand international law when they're holding 240 hostages against international law? So you say, oh, it's like, but it's civilians. So I don't understand. If someone comes and kills me and he hides behind civilians, he has immunity. So first of all, these civilians voted for them. But even if they didn't, even if they didn't, go away. We gave you the opportunity to go away. So what do you do? So I think one of the terrorists that were caught he admitted in the interrogations that they have ambulances, they have vans that look ambulance on the outside, but they're officially used by Hamas terrorists to transfer things and things like that. Why doesn't the whole world shout against that? Where did you hear such a thing? You build your whole army under a hospital. No one says anything. No, but you have to keep the law. I remember once being on an airplane. That was like one of my first introductions to how sick this sometimes extreme left could be. It's like it's that has nothing to do with truth or something. It's all how things look, how things feel. So he said I just visited Israel. He was a Dutch professor. Sat with him next to him on the plane. The guy was a real professor, absent-minded. He stunk. I don't know how long he didn't take a shower. It was a complete absent-minded professor. He says, I was in Israel, I couldn't stand the wall. The wall reminds me of the Berlin Wall. So I told him, but this wall, back then, was right after a time when buses would blow up in Jerusalem in the street. The Sbarro pizza store killed like I don't know how many people. The wall, I told him this wall is saving my wife and kids from being blown up on buses and in pizza shops. He says, but it looks like the Berlin Wall. It doesn't feel right. It looks like the Berlin Wall. So let's not kvetch and let's not complain. I'm talking to myself. Let's tell the Eibishter, L'Shema Yeshua. Save yourself, save your honor, save our honor. Bring truth to the world. Let the world stop being so sick and corrupted. But again, I'm talking negative. May the whole world see Hashem, and Hashem should be obvious and apparent in the world. And the connection between Hashem and the Jewish people, the connection between Hashem and His Torah. It should be more obvious and apparent to us. It will be more obvious and apparent to us. It will be more obvious and apparent to the whole world. And we should already have the ultimate victory. Mashiach should come already, and he will win all the world. The Yilchoim Milchames Hashem. Mashiach is going to fight God's wars. What's more of a war of God than this? To simply, after 2,000 years of Golos, of pogroms, it's about time that we should already sit in peace. And what are we going to do when Mashiach is going to come? We're going to learn about God. We're going to bask in God's emanation. Godliness is going to be obvious and apparent. And we're going to ultimately be able to simply live and enjoy and rejoice in God's existence. So l'chaim, a smashing godly success to every one of our soldiers, every one of our brothers that are hostage, brothers, sisters that are hostage, and all God's enemies and the Jewish people's enemies should have a devastating mapola, should have a devastating, and we should never ever have to deal again with Jewish blood being shed. L'chaim, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thank you. Thank you. You going back to the yeshiva? Tell the guys to come and have some snacks. Midnight snacks. Huh?
I'll go and bug them, yeah.
I don't have to bug them. If they're coming, just send me a WhatsApp because it's possible that we're going to. That's my daughter's favorite thing. She goes, she presses on it, and she starts dancing. We spoke a lot this week about the idea that in the Mimer it says that the birur is because everything has in it, the klipa is the taiva, the lust for it. So what's the opposite of lost?
Found.
What?
Desire to become holy.
Found.
Desire to become holy, that's the opposite of found? Ah! The opposite of law, the opposite of lost is to be found.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's the opposite of lost? So some people will say, what's the opposite of lost? The opposite of lost is celibacy, asceticism, right? Not having any pleasure from the world. And according to what we spoke this week, it's exactly the opposite. The opposite of lost is pleasure. Real pleasure. Because the difference between lustful pleasure and real pleasure is that lustful pleasure comes from a place of detachment. And that's why people that are into lust don't really enjoy. They think they enjoy. It's a certain escapism. And that's why you'll see lustful people are never satisfied. Because they always need a bigger escape. Because, okay, this escape I already tried. People that are focused, people that are not into lust, they can enjoy a piece of cake, can enjoy a piece of steak even, can enjoy whatever. They're present. They're mindful. And whenever they do something, they're there completely. They could enjoy it. When you talk to an addict, you realize that when he is into his things, so it looks like he enjoys, but really he's not there. It's like, whoa, hi, where are you there? They're not even there. They're not present. So when you're not present, who could you can't really enjoy. It looks like enjoyment. It's lost. Oh, someone put in the chat, Hamas equals ISIS. Who's that? That's why you see these people are always angry. All these psychos, like Hitler, it's like always angry. Kedusha is happiness. It's yashvus, tainug, pleasure, from a place of connection,
That's why they want us gone. They see us
The
truly
opposite
happy.
of addiction.
They just can't take it, you know?
You think they're upset with us being happy?
Maybe to some extent they
Being
understand
happy.
Kedusha and they understand their place in the world is to be antithetical to it.
Could be. Yeah, it's not. Let's see some L'chaim. I could have this. I don't think he used it.
What?
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 I don't think he used it.
Oh,
That's fine.
I thought, okay.
Did he use it?
I don't think so.
So what did I want to say? That's different. All these psychopaths. It's all about disconnection. All addictions are escapism, running away from pain, trying to cover up for the pain with lust. But when a person is really connected, you see it's so much easier for people to have illicit relations, than proper relations. I'm talking relationships. So I'm not talking about the actual Why? Because in order to connect to your wife and kids and to your family, you have to be present. You have to be there. It's actually much more energy when a person sins. A person sins, it's much more energy. Why is there energy over there? Because energy is not necessarily connection. The opposite. We see clearly in our mimer that the energy comes from a higher place, and it was abused. It fell in Shvir Zakelim. But when a person is focused, he tries to look only on things that it's proper to look at. He tries to learn every day, even if he has a job. He invests in himself, and he's a connected person. Automatically, everything he does is so much more pleasure. It's like so maybe it's not a roller coaster. They say, like, in relationships, one of the reasons why people end up marrying psychopaths is because it's so much more exciting. So much more exciting. It's like a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. And some people look for that excitement. But what's the problem? Where's the mistake? The real excitement is when you connect inwards. If you need the excitement from outside, you're not being yourself. So they fall for the excitement, but then they realize that the excitement also has like these terrible downs. So huge highs, lows. Because there's no substance over there. There's no real substance over there. So this is the Chassidish Parsha of this week. Eating and all the other things, to do it from a place of connection, to do it mindfully, to do it with intention. And the opposite of all that is lost. The opposite of lost is not asceticism. It's usually the opposite. You should know a rule of thumb. It's always that in spiritual things or even psychological things, the two extreme opposites are usually the same thing, just two expressions of the same thing. And that's why people go to the other extreme, but they don't realize that the other extreme comes from exactly the same place. And the real opposite, the real opposite is when the real opposite is changing the perspective. So what's the opposite of lost? The opposite of lost is pleasure. The opposite of lost is enjoying mindfully. The opposite of lost is to connect to the people that are really important in your life. That's the opposite of lost. Just like the opposite of promiscuity. The same idea. Lost and promiscuity is the same thing. But I've seen over the years, working with students, and especially in the women's program, there were sometimes people that were very extreme. They were very extreme with the way they dressed and the way they. If you dug a tiny bit deeper than surface level, you realized that they were very promiscuous before. And basically, their two perspectives come from the same place. Their perspective is lost. And it has two expressions. One way of expressing their lost is by being promiscuous. The other way of expressing their lust is to completely go to the other side, but it comes from the same head that they're struggling with one point. The opposite of promiscuity is beauty, healthy relationships, That's the opposite. That's the deeper meaning in our mimer. Tzadik oichel l'soiva nafsho is ostis anagalavaya. Ostis anagalavaya is you have pleasure. You're eating Shabbos, you eat Shabbos food, not meant not to enjoy. When this goy says, oh, so you have to be celibate, what is he basically saying? He's saying the same thing like the other person, that this is essentially wrong. But that's I think we already spoke about it. We learned Mishnah together, right? We never learned Mishnah together. Yeah. So I think I think we spoke about it back then. We spoke about this week. We also mentioned the idea of the 12 steps. It's the ways to deal with addictions. AA. So one of the things that they made up. Again, I respect them very much. They're very successful. But one of the things that they made up for the sake of being successful, they're not so scientific. So one of the things they made up was that alcoholics have an allergy, and therefore, if you want to be clean, you're not allowed to have another drop of alcohol for the rest of your life. Cold turkey, but never again. So you'll see if there's someone from AA that comes to the Shabbos table, I don't want wine for Kiddush. Nothing. Why? Because, so to say, the culprit is the alcohol. But what did Hashem do? AA was so successful that they moved into other fields as well, into other areas. So when it comes to NA, so you could also go cold turkey. I'm never doing drugs again. Or other things, or even gamblers. Yeah, a gambler is okay. I'm never going into a casino again. But then they started doing things that are very different, like OA, Overeaters Anonymous, or other things that are that the idea is not to go cold turkey. The idea is that you have to eat, just your relationship to the food. So suddenly they also had to agree that it's not the problem in the alcohol. No, they're still in the alcohol, they still believe that way. The problem is my relationship. Am I coming from a focused place, from a place of connection? Or am I seeing the world from a Shabbos perspective, or am I seeing the world from a weekday perspective? If I see the world from a Shabbos perspective, so I could have the alcohol with a again, they never changed their belief. They're very strict about believing the same things. But ultimately, they by themselves, and saying in the AA, they admit that you can't stop eating. You could make sure that you have a relationship with the food, that the food is not over there for emotional eating. The food is not in order to escape, which we call it in Chassidus taiva. L'taiva yevakish nifrad. There's a pasuk like that. That who asks for a taiva? A nifrad, a separate person, a person that is separated, a person that is disconnected. That's not exactly the simple pshat, but I think it would be true according to Chassidus. But then you could do everything, including alcohol. You could do it from a place of connection. Yain yesamach levav enesh. So there's no reason to cut something out. The problem is not alcohol. The problem is not the food. The problem is you. It's actually a very interesting thing that a lot of people that go to, not a lot of, there's a phenomenon of people that go to the AA groups and they become addicted to AA. Why? Because addiction is an issue. Again, I'm not a professional for addiction, and anyone listening over here shouldn't think. I'm not giving advice on addiction. I'm saying I'm using an extreme example for our lives. I don't think anyone over here is someone that is called an addict, but we're all addicted. That's the vart. Addiction is the extreme thing, but taiva is an addiction. What is taiva? Addiction Again, a real addiction, a full-fledged, blown addiction is when there's like certain rules. You can't hold yourself back. I don't know. By the way, psychiatry, for example, doesn't believe in the whole idea of addiction. They don't believe it. In other words, in the world, in the scientific world by itself, there's a lot of different schools of thought that they do believe it's a concept like that. Doesn't believe. So, but I'm not arguing with that. I'm just trying to say that I'm using an extreme example that when we are dependent on something outside of ourselves as a source of excitement, as a source of life, that means that we're not in touch with ourselves. When we are in touch with ourselves, we could approach the food, we could approach the alcohol, we could approach anything else from a healthy place, and then we can even enjoy it more than when we use it in a way of escaping. That's what I'm trying to say. How was your week, Oren? Share with us something. Share some insight, inspiration. What did you have this week? What did you have going this week?
It was a long week.
Well, but it was amazing. You woke up every day for Chassidus. Was with the bike.
Dog sitting for friends. I've been waking up even earlier for
because
walk
the dog-
with the dog and then Chassidus.
The dog wants to go on a walk every day.
The dog decides.
What?
The dog decides the hours.
How do you do it? You have time to walk a dog before Chassidus?
The dog wakes him up 5:30. The dog didn't get the memo that you changed the clock.
She didn't want to come to this either.
What?
She didn't want to come to this either.
Didn't?
Want to come to.
She didn't want to come? Why?
The dog was nagid?
I think they don't let pets into the building. So
Strict with human beings.
Where? No, it's a Haredi building. Most Haredi people don't grow up with dogs and they're afraid of dogs. I didn't grow up with dogs. It took me years to get over it when I lived in a non-from neighborhood, when I lived in Katamon.
Oh wow.
Literally, till about 10 years ago, I was petrified of dogs.
Yeah. I did French in college, and then a friend of mine in the class showed me a book she was reading. It was like illustrations. It was called the Cat of the Jew, and then it was like a children's book almost. And then she didn't know it was Jewish, but it was like, wow. And then so I took it to read it for a bit. And then the first thing the book said was like, it was telling the story. The child is saying, I really want a dog, but Jews don't like dogs, so we got a cat.
I did host my first Shabbos this last week.
You hosted?
We just got out of it. So we cooked.
So you also dog sitting on Shabbos? No, you have to be there? You have a Shabbos meal for the day?
No, I'm saying I had last week. Last week I hosted.
But what are you doing? What are you doing this Shabbos? Because we're looking for guests for Shabbos day.
Yeah.
Where are you Shabbos day?
She had a friend of mine.
Jonas Dov?
What?
Jonas Dov Kinski?
What?
When there's other people I can ask. So,
Yeah, okay. I asked Dov. Dov told me that he already set up everyone.
There's many another Dov. Dov
Dov.
Kinski.
So Dover's.
I don't know if he has plans.
Most probably he has, but ask him.
Yeah.
Ask him. But I saw in the middle of this year that Dov Fratkin sent me a text that maybe there's another guy that needs a spot. Fine. So l'chaim everyone. You should have a beautiful Shabbos. How was your week, Yaakov? Share with us something.
Baruch Hashem.
I'll give you the
Baruch
chumos over there.
It's a great week. I mean, this week was characterized mostly by me. You know, I got a kosher phone. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent because it's necessary to explain why my week was a little bit usual or a little bit typical. Where I had an issue before yeshiva, and I still kind of have this issue to an extent in yeshiva. I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying to get better. Where I used to be on YouTube on my phone.
What?
I used to be on YouTube on my phone excessively, right? My personal, I'm not going to go into my opinion on the algorithm. I think the algorithm is a crime against humanity. The number of hours wasted collectively by society watching YouTube videos that could be saved if not for like a very advanced artificial intelligence specifically designed to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. Whatever. That's a whole different tangent.
There's a Republican guy who wants to ban TikTok.
Good for him. I agree. It's,
Who wants to ban TikTok?
Or the Republican candidate.
I mean, I don't want to ban TikTok because it's a Chinese security threat. I want to ban TikTok
Reminds
because
me of
it's
a
like
joke.
the
There was
worst
a-
thing.
That's
there
what
was
he
a
said,
big-
that
yeah.
people
It reminds me of a joke. There
poisoning-
was a big chassid. He didn't really know. When he worked in the yeshiva in some 70, he ran the yeshiva. So someone said there's a big problem with the internet. So he said, I think we should close the whole internet.
No, the internet has plenty of uses. You can use ChatGPT and ask it a halachic question. you can go on Wikipedia. You can the sum total of most human knowledge is freely available online, and it's incredible. But it's like most
Not
things.
true at all.
Most things can be. I mean, if you look, some things are behind a paywall, but it's generally you can find most. I mean, if you look hard enough.
Especially Jewish texts.
Yeah, but what I'm going on to say is most things have a positive use and a negative use, right? For example, nuclear energy or nuclear physics, right?
Everything in the world. That's
Everything
what
in the
it
world.
says. Everything
Every-
has a positive and negative.
Right? Nuclear physics, you can make a nuclear power plant use a tiny amount of uranium-235 to generate energy for generations, or you can use the same 235 to destroy Hiroshima.
I do that all the time.
That's also positive, by the way.
I mean,
That's how we stopped the world.
Yeah, the
from
Japanese
Second
were-
World War.
The Japanese, it was going to be a very deadly ground invasion. The Japanese were willing to fight to every last man, so it was a good thing that we did it. But my point is, you can use it for other cities, and that wouldn't be a very good thing. It depends, a certain guy got fired for suggesting that we use it on a certain city. It's an interesting. Anyways, yeah. So I had a little bit of an issue before yeshiva, and still a little bit during yeshiva, where I was on YouTube excessively and getting no sleep, and waking up for Chassidus, going to Chassidus, and then consequently sleeping between Shacharis and Gemara, and then putting on tefillin during the mincha lunch break, which, I mean, it works. It's a life hack where you can get like a very limited amount of sleep, and you can make it to all the classes, and you also don't really miss anything except for Shacharis. But no, I have a kosher phone now. I can't access YouTube. So what I'm doing now is I'm going on Wikipedia and reading Wikipedia articles. I'm so strongly against going to sleep at night that I'm willing to read Wikipedia. So I guess
that. It's the same with me. Like any app that will leave on my phone, like unlimited, that's what I'm gonna use for hours.
exactly.
Okay, but I think a part of being focused is going to sleep on time.
100%.
I also struggle with
A
that.
lot of discipline. It's the whole
It was-
thing.
A focused person, discipline I think is also an outcome of focus.
Anyways,
A focused person, what?
That's what I'm
anyways,
saying.
Baruch Hashem, I got my
That
kosher
what?
phone last
What were
week.
you saying? I didn't understand.
Sorry.
What did you say?
No, just that it stems from it. That discipline stems from focus. Like focus
Yeah.
on the goal. Focus
sure,
on
for
what's
sure.
important.
Right. But sometimes discipline takes so much energy because you're disciplining yourself. Focus takes much less energy. It's just I know who I am. I know what I want out of my life. Chassidim used to say like this: there's 4 types of ways of doing it. Going to sleep early, waking up late. There's no point. You're sleeping through your life. Yeah. Going to sleep late and waking up early. You're not getting enough sleep. So there's 2 left. Going to sleep early and waking up early. Going to sleep late and waking up late. Going to sleep late and learning Torah, meanwhile. He says, going to sleep early and waking up early, you're breaking your Yetzer Hara twice. Going to sleep late and waking up late, you're only breaking Yetzer Hara once at night. That you're not going to sleep, you're learning. So Chassidim try to go to sleep on time. You wake up on time.
When's the best time to go to sleep? Like as a chassid? Like 2 hours after sunset, 2.5 hours.
2 hours after time.
That's the Kabbalists. Kabbalists don't like to be awake in the first half of the night. They go to sleep right after Ma'ariv and wake up to Chatzos, wake up in the night.
Because mamish, yeah, sunset these days is when, like 5:05 or something. So 2 hours after that, it's 7 p.m.
4:50.
4:50. So
Today it was 4:48.
isn't that candlelighting or that's mamish?
That's
Candlelighting,
yeah,
candlelighting is going to be 4:08.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, but isn't it? It's like super. Yeah, it's super early
Yeah.
because we're in Jerusalem. Yeah,
And usually.
we're in Yerushalayim.
I found if you wake up early enough, you can daven, you can do chassidus, gaden zernus, daven v'sikin, and then during shachar you can go do mitzvim.
Yeah, but I Baruch Hashem, I got a kosher phone. Maybe I have to get everything off my phone to be productive. The thing is, I want
There's an
to.
app called Minimalist.
Yeah, I got it, but it charged money, so
Well,
I'm cheap. Alright, I'm already paying for Pimsleur. I'm already
okay.
like I don't
I didn't
know.
know that they charge.
Surprisingly, I charge $20 a month.
Oh, that's wow.
It hurts.
That's a lot.
It's really steep. So I paused the payments. I'm just not gonna have Pimsleur anymore in a month.
They're learning Hebrew.
Yeah.
Which lesson you want?
Duolingo.
I'm doing Duolingo. I'm doing both. I'm
Israelis.
yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
I spoke to Israelis and they told me to listen to Israeli music and to like memorize the lyrics in Hebrew and then like learn the corresponding lyrics in English, and
Where did
that's
you learn
actually
Hebrew?
really good.
Yeah, that's how I learned.
Or where
too.
did you learn? In the army?
I'd say mostly from Mechina. At the end of my gap year. Mechina means preparation. This Mechina was a religious mixed one where there were Olim and Israelis that were drafting into the army. So the first 3 months was us with them learning like a lot of Jewish studies and also like just about Israel and Zionism in general. And the second half was more army based. But the point being that I was surrounded by Israelis. That forced me to like, really speak in order to get to know them, and that's what helped the most.
Right.
Absolutely.
Also listening to music and then just hearing the song so much, and I was just like, and then just reading the translation and understanding the words from that, and then
I have Mahapecha Shel Simcha like memorized to the word with. I don't know why that song specifically. It's just like an earbug.
What?
It's an earbug. It's too catchy.
It's two?
Too catchy.
I
It's
don't
good.
think
I don't know.
Tukuchi.
His doing his chapcha on the song. The song was too catchy, he can't get it out of his mind. Now he's using to learn Hebrew.
Exactly. It's stuck in my mind anyway. I may as well use it.
Zero people, but too loud.
No, people came out and off.
Is anybody watching now?
No.
I feel very lonely now.
No, it was going to go on.
I thought when I was talking, I had like an audience, you know. Yeah, I have you guys. You guys are the best audience.
Exactly. But that's the idea. The idea is focus.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to keep up with the war. I want to keep up with not chas v'shalom, all those horrible videos that Hamas is trying to spread to demoralize us, but all of the general news. You know, if we take over every street in Gaza City, I'd like to hear about it. You know, if we're opening a civilian pathway for people to flee, I'd like to hear about it. You know, so if I lose Wikipedia, I lose
According to
these-
halakha, we need to. According
We
to
need
halakha,
to?
yeah, you
We
need
need
to
to
create
know
a
that thing,
You
no?
need to
Why?
create.
Oh.
You need to create a way for them.
You always have to give the ability for people to surrender.
I thought you were saying we have to listen to the news.
No, I'm saying in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of them being able to get
Alright,
out.
that
you
makes
have to
sense.
leave
Civilian
the
corridor,
secret.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You know,
But I very recently, I was in a group on WhatsApp that besides for the like 5 different stories that
Let's say L'chaim and turn off the thing. Someone just came on.
Shalom Aleichem.
Welcome
Shalom
to
Aleichem.
Likutei Torah Club. Good to see you here.
L'chaim.
Fine. If you're having a lachaim from your side, get out of your stuff.
You could say hi on the chat if you want.
Or if you
Or-
don't, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in
Pressure.
a bunch of statuses for that's how I
What?
get news usually. Statuses in WhatsApp.
Statuses, yeah.
Yeah, but
Me
besides
too.
for that, I also got in a group on WhatsApp. Was like basically everything about the war. Anybody who wanted to post anything that was happening could post, and it was basically like 20 messages a minute, and
Wow.
with a ton of stuff from the war, like videos and photos and everything, and news.
That's crazy.
Jakob, I'm on a good Telegram chat if you
Yeah.
want, because it's just like.
And then
honest,
recently,
straight.
I was like, I'm wasting too much
I'm
time
only
on
on
this.
this. Your Telegram
And
chat's probably
then
better.
somebody sent me a video. Not somebody sent me. On some group on WhatsApp, somebody sent a video of the Reddit saying about watching the news that we shouldn't watch the
It's not like you
news,
just scroll and
like
tell.
lose so much time watching the news. We should do
It's a
things
wasting
that
time.
yeah, if we can do things that actually help in the war,
Gewoon
meaning
landplayer.
yeah, like the time that you're watching the news, not just the time you're watching the news, because if you watch the news, you're gonna want to discuss it with your friend, and then you two are gonna want to see who knows the best answer for the Middle East problem, and then but like
You don't
none
even
of
need
that
to go that
is shaykh
far.
to the reality. So I was saying that you could actually do things that matter instead of discussing with your friend as if
Yeah,
you were
exactly.
the president
Yeah, wasting time.
of the countries. Yeah. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
I'm falling
Yeah.
asleep, yeah, but
Well, very good, very
I have
good.
to go back
have
to
a
the,
bedroom for you.
to the
Yeah.
cemetery tomorrow as well.
The
Why?
app, Telegram.
Cemetery that we were in today.
What happened? You forgot something over there? Oh no, you know where you put it?
It's there according to the maps online.
Aaron,
It must have fallen out like when I got off the
Telegram
bus
is
or
not
something.
kosher.
Not kosher.
yeah, I know. I got out of it.
That's so weird.
It's not.
So how you going to
I
get
don't
there?
know.
With the bus?
Right.
I was
thing
gonna
blocked
ask you,
it.
how did you get there today?
With my
But
car?
it's not.
Oh, you do.
It's not kosher, mom.
No.
Yeah, I'll check
It's
bus
not.
route.
It's still open.
Really?
If there's nothing in Colorado,
I had it on my
like
phone.
I'm thinking
I
about
installed
it,
it
and
because it was still
maybe
open.
Wow.
it's a message that I need to be more like connected in the world and keep an ear open.
I hear
be
ya.
more present.
What does it say?
You can look.
That's
You can
next to the
search
place
on
where
Telegram for
the-
groups that you're not.
It says it's in the parking lot. of
Really?
the
So you can. Oh wow, that's
Parking
okay,
lot.
that's insane.
Yeah.
It says that's the last time it saw it. So I don't know if
That's
that's the last
probably-
time my phone connected to it or the last
Uh-huh.
time. I don't know.
But if it'll be closer, we'll be
What
able
sort
to
of
tell you.
things
Right?
are on Telegram? Is it just mostly like
But also-
discussions, forums,
I
chats?
didn't
it's a
have it like
messenger.
all the way back.
If you want.
So if it's not there, it's
But,
like, at
what's the
base.
difference
There's
between
no chance
like
it's in my
Telegram
car.
and
What?
WhatsApp and like,
If
all
it's
these
not
other-
there, then it's
The
on the
features,
army
but
base
the
where we
purpose
do
is
the
also
barbecue.
Mm.
But there's no chance like in the apartment.
So they said Telegram is
Yeah.
more
Okay.
secure.
If
Yeah,
I don't
hopefully you'll
find
find
it,
it.
then I'll know that it's.
Got famous when WhatsApp was starting to
I might have a
give
extra
to
pair.
like tribunals, like the justice system. Something in the U.S. I think was asking WhatsApp for messages that were giving them.
He's got off on it, and I have
And
that
it was like,
one.
oh,
What do you
WhatsApp
have?
is
What-
gonna
That's
give
why
you
I have
messages.
2 years.
Certain time.
Yeah.
AirPods.
Yeah, but there's the Pro.
That
Let's
makes
see
sense.
which one.
The Pro.
These have very.
When you were talking about addictions, it actually reminded me of something kind of interesting.
Oh.
I don't know if you're familiar with.
Have a good night. Have a good Shabbos.
Good night,
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Want to take?
Learning.
You want to take some cake for tomorrow?
Wheat.
Huh? Oh, wait.
It's good. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah.
So, one of my friends, right, back from Cleveland, he was actually here in Eretz Yisrael before I was, for about a year. He Shabbat Shalom, and let's stream.
It's still.
But also,
He
Someone
is.
is on.
good luck.
Good luck. So he was at some point a bit of an addict. I'm not going to specify what, and he went to this yeshiva in Tel Stone called I believe Neve.
Doesn't matter, doesn't
Neve Zion.
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. No, I just want to know if you're familiar with the place so that I can.
Where
because
in
you might be-
Telstone?
Yeah. Well, not familiar with Telston, but familiar with any yeshivas there.
There's so many yeshivas over there.
Too many. Okay. And there was this rabbi who wrote a book. The rabbi who is, I believe, the Rosh Yeshiva there. He wrote this pamphlet called "How to Live a Miserable Life," and it's a very like, it's an interesting introduction to like how to sort of ultimately self-control. Ultimately, it's a very interesting idea where the fundamental assumption is to view your thoughts as advertisements that your brain is running for you, and to be aware of the fact that not only can you ignore your thoughts, but it's generally beneficial to do so in most cases. And of course, like when you say that out loud, as a matter of fact, it sounds correct, of course. But you know, like sometimes it's not like so. Sometimes it's not so intrinsic to think to ignore your own thoughts. You know,
Right.
They're like especially if one defines themselves by their thoughts.
Right.
Like it's so am I ignoring myself? Like
Opinion says to push them with both hands, right?
push them with
They're
both
not
hands. Shkaya. And he makes sort of muscle that thoughts are like clouds that appear in your mind, and if you just leave them be, they disappear, and you'll be infinitely more relaxed having done so, and you won't need you won't feel empty, you won't feel drained, you won't feel the need to cope by going on YouTube or playing.
That's just like saying focus.
Yeah, ultimately, it really is the same thing, just stated in different words. So I just wanted to say
Very nice.
it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
So it's not self-control.
It's not precisely self-control. Yeah,
You're not letting yourself be distracted
yeah,
by everything. You're not a rootless tree. A tree that doesn't have roots. Every tiny wind shakes it. But if you're rooted, not everything throws you off course. Not every thought or every thing that someone tells you or every occurrence in your life doesn't throw you off course.
Says them supercabs, you know. The tree.
What? Let's focus.
The mashal of the tree says them supercabs, I think.
Well, what?
Things says them supercabs is the mashal of the tree. Strong roots.
Yeah, that's for something else. That's someone that has more actions than learning
Okay.
versus more learning than action. So l'chaim, we should all be connected and rooted, connected to our true self, connected to our neshama. L'chaim, everyone.
Chaim.
So you'll tell Dove, ask him if he has a place. If not, let me know. I'll invite him. Okay. Have a beautiful, beautiful Shabbos, everyone. A beautiful Shabbos.
Shabbos.